I'll let you choose right now. This one.
We could do a 1v1 list, which I didn't do. I didn't do many 1v1s in the beta.
Okay. Yeah,
So I
me
think
neither,
I'll
to be
have
honest.
to. Oh, you didn't do any either?
Nah.
It's interesting hearing your perspective on some of these things though, because I don't think either of us like tested the rapier chain thing. I did that like mainly on purpose. But I do like the input on it. I think probably thinking back at the Ice Gauntlet thing, I think the Ice Gauntlet would be better if people weren't like forming bulls on the point. If Lifestaff falls out of popularity because people do the rapier chain build or more fire staff users, I think the Iceborne Gauntlet can definitely be up there with the Great Axe.
Yeah.
The 1v1 bow.
1v1 bow. I had a duel against a guy who was bow and rapier user. He was playing definitely alpha because you could tell from the movement. He moved really well. I would go with A tier when it comes to bow, if you can really aim.
I'd agree with
really
that.
good.
I don't think a ranged weapon can be below A tier in 1v1s because you need a Grid Axe to deal with them. And if you combo with the rapier, then the Grid Axe can't do anything.
Yeah.
Hatchet.
Hatchet for 1v1. I'll go with S tier because of the sustain.
I like it. I think the sustain can out-sustain most of the damage on any of the range weapons. Like if you play passive, you're gonna have a good time with the hatchet, to be honest. It is what it is. It just is good. You can hit like leaping strikes on people sometimes. Like it's fine. I don't think there's any problem with hatchet in 1v1s where people can't just infinitely run away from you. Because if people are running away from you, then you just heal. So you almost have like pseudo chase because people have to attack you. Otherwise you just heal. Yeah. Musket.
For 1v1 with traps. I haven't fought anybody with traps and sticky bombs. But I would maybe go A tier as well with bow.
I like it. I think
In 1v1.
Yeah. Musket, you kind of have to go for the trapper build. It doesn't have as much burst or runaway-inness as the bow has, but
yeah,
it's still got stuff, you know? You're gonna have a hard time against a hatchet with any ranged weapon though. Is the real problem with it.
Oh yeah.
Life staff?
You know it. S++.
Yeah. It might go in the D tier because you won't be able to get any 1v1s with a life staff.
Yeah, true. Well, people would just forfeit because it would be unkillable, so that's a dub. It's a win. Spear for 1v1.
Yeah.
That's a hard one, man. I'm torn between A and B.
Really?
I've played against a really good spear user, Yui, and he can do some wonder. He can do some magic with spear.
See,
how proud would it be though?
I think spear revolves around two things, which is the javelin. If people are good at throwing the javelins, they can be a pain in the ass. But you can reaction roll the javelin. And then the other thing is Vault Kick is okay. But I don't know if you ever tried this. You can just strafe a spear. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that video from Big Bear.
Yeah, because the tracking will lock you on, so there's no way to pre-aim it. You can't aim in front of people. It'll pre-roll you on. And I think for that reason, and the fact that like it only has like two things it can do, which is javelin and vault kick, and if you look out for the vault kick, you're never going to be caught by it. I would put it D tier, but I think I could knock it up to C tier because of the vault kick into coup de grace into javelin combo, because that's a true combo, and it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. Yeah. It does rely on you hitting a vault kick though.
That's the question.
Hammer?
1v1, I will go with D tier. Very easy to dodge, slow animations with skills.
Yeah.
I don't really like that for 1v1.
Yeah. Hammer needs some love. It needs something. Low damage, slow. It doesn't have anything going for it. It's just bad.
Yeah. Even upper the love from Alpha, but still.
Yeah. Fire staff? Oh, one thing I will say about the hammer though is it has the same tracking on its heavy attack as the great axe has on its left click. So you can actually chain heavy attacks, like not charged heavies, but normal heavies, and chase somebody running directly away from you.
Alright, I see.
Yeah, and you can roll catch a light roll with heavy attack as well. Yeah, fire staff?
Fire staff, 1v1. If you're a good aimer, S+.
I could agree.
Maybe S. But yeah, S+.
It's very strong.
It can be really powerful, yeah. Incinerate and Burnout, those two already are really strong in 1v1.
100%, yeah. Incinerate, Burnout, both skills that are very easily countered if you know what you're doing. Like, you can stagger through both of them, so you can use like a Feral Rush on the Hatchet, knock people out of Incinerate, knock people out of Burnout, or you can use like a Reap on the Great Axe, but sometimes it's hard to time that. You've got to be like a very high skilled duelist to deal with the Fire Staff, I think. If you're like an average player versus another average player, the Fire Staff's probably going to win. Sword and Shield?
Sounds about right. I would go with B tier. It depends. It can be strong against melees. It can be unkillable against melees, but if you're against ranged, I don't know, I would go with B tier.
It can be. I like Sword and Shield a lot. I think it still has a lot of uses. I think people very much so underestimate the damage that Sword and Shield can put out. And obviously when you're playing like the Defiant Stance, Shield Bash build, like you can just block, and then if you can't block, you can just like trade, and your trades usually come out on top. You've got self-sustain from the Defiant Stance, especially if you're comboing it with like a Hatchet. So you just Berserk, and then when your Berserk is on cooldown, you Defiant Stance, and then when your Defiant Stance is on cooldown, you Berserk again. They get super duper strong.
Yeah.
Iceborne Gauntlet?
Sorry. Ice Gauntlet, 1v1, I would put to S tier. Because of the control. Again, if you catch somebody in the Ice Storm or Ice Shower, which is not really that hard to do in 1v1, and then hit every heavy attack, then it's just GG.
Okay, I think I'm going to put it S++. Literally because of... Maybe not S++. So, my reasoning for being higher than S, right? Is Ice Shower is instant frame. It's a frame, it's a 1 frame attack. So you don't actually need to wait for the animation of Ice Shower. If they are in range, you hit them with Ice Frame, 1 frame with Ice Shower as you cast it.
Right.
Which will insta-root them, and there's no way to get past that root. You can't block it, you can't movement ability out of it. And you can catch people during their attacks, you can catch people during movement abilities and stuff like that. And the other thing is, if you move sideways and then cast it, so you're looking like perpendicular to the enemy, then the Ice Shower will actually come out like a lot further. So you can actually hit like 3-4 meters away with the Ice Shower in a single frame. And insta-root people, and then you do that, and then you hit an Ice Storm off of that, and go into your heavy attacks, and you're really knocking anybody out, and then after that you can just Ice Pylon for safety. Really the only way of countering it is with a ranged weapon, and then it doesn't have like that bad matchups with the ranged weapons, but the Fire Staff will destroy it. And then the musket is kind of like a hard matchup for it as well. So I don't think it can be like S++, but I think S+ instead of S tier.
Okay.
Mainly because of that interaction, I think.
Yeah.
Great Axe?
Great Axe. I'll go with S plus.
Yeah, I like it. It's just very strong.
Yeah, for 1v1.
I'd put it ahead of these two because it's balanced. It doesn't really have bad matchups, other than the rapier.
True. Yeah,
it doesn't have.
That's what.
Yeah, it doesn't have like auto win matchups, but I don't think it has bad matchups. Which is super nice. And then obviously, like, if you're better geared than the other person, I think you do have like auto win matchups, right?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, because gear matters.
Yeah. Rapier?
I would put S tier.
S tier? I think Rapier auto loses versus so many of these things. Like, it auto loses versus muskets, bows, fire staff, ice gauntlet, life staff. The only thing it beats is the melee weapons. But if you're against a melee weapon, it's very, very hard to beat the Rapier because it can just chase you down. It can just evade spam on top of you. Obviously, you can't use the flurry build in 1v1s. But yeah, combined with like an ice gauntlet, I think the Rapier is very strong. I could probably see S tier. It's either A or S tier. One of those two.
One of those two.
The only problem with it is really like no self-sustain, because I don't think you can justify flurry in a 1v1.
No, I don't think so either. It's just 5. I know the animation is fast, but just 5 hits is 5 hits. And anybody has the time to roll dodge from that, or just block.
Which is your only sustain off Leech and Flurry. So I don't even... Do you think it does belong next to the hatchet? Or do you think it belongs next to the bow and musket?
Well, Rapier is kind of easy to beat with hatchet, so I would probably go with A.
Yeah, I think so. A tier is fine. I think it's better than the bow and musket, but its weaknesses are very weak. And its strengths are very uncounterable. The only problem with it.
Funnily enough.
1v1. We've really blitzed through these. Both.